Okay, before I start ranting about something a little bit more fun and entertaining, I wanted to talk about what's going on in the world really quick. If you're as heartbroken as I am about people being torn away from their literal families, then at the very top of the link box, I've left a ton of resources for you to learn about what's going on and to help support those that are affected by the ICE raids and the Trump administration. Happy Pride Month as well. There will be links to a ton of LGBTQ foundations that are very helpful for trans and queer youth. We are not evil. Women are not evil. Immigrants are not evil. We are all human beings. These are things that I care about very much, and I hope that you'll take some time to check them out. Hi. This is not a media video. This is more of an opinionated video, something that I just kind of want to talk about because I can, and I like talking. So yeah, first of all, happy Pride Month. Yay! To anyone who celebrates or anyone that is an ally. Pride Month is for all types of love, whether you're gay, straight, queer, bi, whatever. You're allowed to celebrate Pride Month however you want. Go out, kiss a bunch of women, kiss a bunch of guys, like who cares? Do whatever you want. Personally, I'm going to be celebrating it by sharing my opinions on the LGBTQ community. Kind of. What I want to really cover is so minuscule compared to the real issues that the LGBTQ community goes through. So many things are happening in the world where we're all being stripped of our rights, and obviously that is way more important than whatever I'm about to talk about. But I do feel that what I am about to say is important to a degree. Obviously not on the same scale as us being literally murdered for being who we are, but it's just something that I think we should just be more careful of and pay more attention to. So, without anything else, here is my opinion on people being ashamed of Pride and Pride Month. So obviously, I feel like that's a big, take. I feel like people in the LGBTQ community are usually pretty open and excited about Pride Month. But what is it that would make me say that there are people out there that aren't? Well, unfortunately, there are people that aren't very proud to be who they are, or aren't very open to the idea of Pride Month, and people that are more extroverted with their identities. Now, obviously, there are reasons for this. Some people are not allowed to be open. Some people just keep it more low-key. But I think really what I'm trying to say are the people that are open about it but act like they're above it. I guess you could call this a pick-me gay. Someone that just doesn't seem like they have anything to do with, doesn't want anything to do with the queer community, or just thinks that they're above it all. I've met people that have been like, yeah, I'm gay, but not like other gay. I'm not one of those gays. Brother, what? That stuff just bothers me. I feel like if you're someone that's queer, you should be aware of it just frustrates me. And I think that people that say these things just don't really understand, or don't want to understand, the extent that LGBTQ people are actually in harm's way. Queer pride is something that I take very seriously, something that's really important to me, that matters to me. And if it doesn't matter to you, or you don't really care about it that much, that's fine. But you shouldn't ignore it. You shouldn't make people feel shameful for it. You shouldn't make people feel like they're weird for being excited to be who they are. I think one of the things that people forget is that the first Pride Month wasn't like a parade. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't happy. It was a riot. It was a fight against police officers to have the right to exist in a space that was meant for them. The first riots, the Stonewall riots, were the beginnings of a new era for gay people and queer rights. It was at a safe space that was meant to be a safe space for queer people to exist in their own private manner, and there was a police raid where people were being kicked out. I mean, this happened in like the late 60s, maybe mid 60s. So obviously being queer was very like, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but it just wasn't acceptable at the time. It wasn't okay to be queer. It wasn't okay to be gay. And, you know, if someone came into your home and started like beating the crap out of you and telling you to leave, obviously that you're going to feel violated. Like, that's your space. That's your safe space. You want to fight back. So people did. They fought back, and that started the riots of the Stonewall riots. And, I mean, it's something that gives us room to grow and be who we are. I mean, that happened, like, 50 years ago, right? Yeah, that happened, like, 50 years ago. And even now, we're still fighting for rights that we do deserve. Only 10 years ago was gay marriage finally legalized in 2015, well, in America. So it's still new.
First, a historic day for marriage equality in our country.
Today is the first time same-sex couples across the country can be married in every single state. The Supreme Court ruled that same-sex couples can marry anywhere in the U.S., and all states need to recognize those marriages. It was banned in 14 states until today.
Let's take a live look. That is the White House tonight. It is lighted up in rainbow colors in celebration of today's decision. Earlier today, President Obama called the Supreme Court's decision a victory for America.
We don't have the privilege to be ashamed of our rights. We don't have the privilege to like feel weirded out by people that are happy to be free. You don't get to do that. It's not okay, and it shouldn't be normalized. Obviously, there are people that aren't able to be open about who they are. But when you're able to be open about who you are and you choose to be weirded out and you put down other people in the queer community, that's just weird. You're weird. You're the weird one. And you should be ashamed of yourself. That's not me saying there's no reason for people to critique the queer community. Obviously, we're all human, we do things wrong, but to judge someone for being proud of who they are and wanting to share that openly in whatever way that they choose, that's when it becomes a problem. For me, my coming out journey was, I think it's funny. I mean, obviously back then it was like my make or break moment, like what am I going to do for the rest of my life? And sexuality is something that I still struggle with today. Like, I'm an ever-changing person. I probably will be for the rest of my life. It's something that's difficult to manage, and doing it when you're growing up in like middle school is just awkward for everyone. One of the first things that happened to me, and it's a distinct memory, and I don't think I've ever told anyone this, during Pride Month, when I was like 13, I was very online. This was during like the pandemic era. I was homeschooled, kind of. I just didn't do any of my online work. But during that era, I was on Instagram a lot. I was online a lot. I had Discord. Yeah, so I was very online. I was very media heavy. And I wasn't like homophobic or anything. I wasn't a bigot. I wasn't stupid. I knew that these people were human beings, and I wasn't homophobic in any way. It just wasn't something that I could ever see myself being. It was just something that I didn't think was for me. And I did grow up in a religious space, obviously, you know, not that religious. Like, my parents are religious. They have their moments, but I love them and they love me. And spoiler warning, my parents were very accepting as they can be. But back to the story. Sorry, I get off track. The first time that I like kind of like dabbled with the idea that I could be harnessing some inward feelings, I was watching a Pride edit. And it had voiceovers of people talking about their queer experience, and it had clips from different TV shows with queer characters and real life people at Pride parades, and I just cried. I cried because I couldn't believe that anyone would think that was so evil, that people being happy and being colorful and being proud and being loud was something that could be so like disgusting to others. And I cried and I thought, like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Like, how am I supposed to help these people? Like, I need to be there for them.
I was taught by my parent that there's something wrong with someone like me. So today, I'm marching for that part of me that was once too afraid to march. Today I march to remember that I'm not just a me, I'm also a we, and we march with pride.
I don't care if she's gay. I care if she's loved. I care if she's happy.
They want to erase us, so we want to shine even brighter. And I am proud of all that I am. I'm gay. And I'm a trans woman. But you know what else? Fear sucks.
And I like panicked. I didn't know what to do. I was scared. I was like, why am I crying? Like, this has nothing to do with me. And I was just very emotional. I'm a very emotional person. So it kind of just got to me. I was like, oh my God. It's like, I need to protect these people. Like, they're regular people and like they're getting all this hate for no reason. And after I like calmed down, I was like, oh my God, maybe I'm gay. Like, oh my God. And at the time, like, one of my friends had come out and she had told me that she was bisexual, and I was like, you know, I'm an ally and I love you and you're my friend, and nothing will ever change that. Not me though. And she was like, okay, thank you. And it was it was funny to me. It's funny to me now, but at the time I was completely freaking out because I was like, oh my God, I'm gay. And if I am gay, the only people I'm going to have are my friends that I don't even see because they're all online. And if I am gay, I'm going to have to come out. And if I tell my parents, then I'm going to lose my home, and they're going to kick me out, and my dad's going to hate me, and my mom is going to forget about me forever, and I'm going to have nowhere to go. So I was freaking out. I was like, absolutely not. I closed that box and I put it away. For about like a month, and all my friends started coming out. Once one of them had come out, the rest started coming out, and they were like, no, I just didn't know if you guys would be accepting. And so I had told, this is so crazy, I had told one person, and I was like, maybe. And they told everybody else in the group chat, and I was like, okay. And so all my friends found out, and they're like, I was like, I don't know, I don't really want to put a label, I don't know, like, I don't know enough. And that same friend that outed me just kind of told everyone, well, like, she's bi. And I was like, okay, I'm bi. And so I identified as bisexual for a while. And a few months later, and I remember it so vividly because it was after my cousin's bridal shower. And I was sitting in the car with my mom and in just tears telling her, I'm bisexual. And she was like, okay, like, I love you. This doesn't change anything. Like, you're my kid. And I was like, really? Like, do you promise? And she's like, yeah, like, you're my only kid. Like, what am I going to do? Kick you out? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I didn't know. And so we went to go get ice cream at McDonald's. And I said, it's literally the funniest story. And I think it's so sweet. I said into the microphone when I was ordering my milkshake, I'm gay. And the guy goes, yeah, me too. And it was just so exciting. I was so happy to be myself, and I was so happy that my mom like did not care. And the guy at the counter was like, so gay, huh? And I was like, yep. And my mom was like, yeah, she just came out. And he's like, oh, well, congratulations. And it was just a wholesome moment. And I was very happy to be who I was. I remember I bought a little pride bracelet for myself, and it had the colors of the bi flag in little beads. And I hadn't told my dad. I didn't tell my dad for a while, but my mom knew, and she was great about it. When I did tell my dad, he was like, no, you're not. And for like a week, he was like, no, you're not. And then eventually he was like, you know what? I really don't care. Another person that likes girls in this house. Yes. And ever since, my dad's been like my number one supporter, and both my parents have. Recently I got them 2 shirts to say I love my lesbian daughter, because I am a lesbian. I did find out eventually that I don't like men at all, and it was really funny to me, and I was like, please, can I buy you this shirt? And they were like, okay, 2 colors for each of us, and they picked out their colors. My dad got a pink one and a black one, and my mom got a pink one and a blue one. And they were like, yes, we're going to wear these everywhere. Every time we go out for dinner, we're going to wear them all the time. And I'm very blessed to have a family that doesn't care, or cares but it doesn't affect anything. Overall, they are like the most accepting, and I really couldn't ask for anything more. And unfortunately, I know that my story isn't like other people's. Some people don't have that privilege of being accepted like that, and my heart goes out to them. I know some people personally that don't have that, and it hurts to see people that could be so happy have to keep it a secret and hide who they are because they know it won't end as positive. It's painful knowing that, like, as many problems as I feel I face, there's someone out there that feels 10 times the weight of religion or personal experience or family issues. And it's just, it sucks. It's something that, like, you can't help. It's something that even if you know you could try and change someone's mind, at the end of the day, it's their choice to accept you and love you for who you are. That's my little coming out story. I find it hilarious. I've also, since coming out, I kind of unlocked a previous memory that I had where one day when I was like 9, maybe 8, I was sitting in my bedroom watching the Justin Bieber, what's it called? Sorry music video. And I was just like, this is it for me. Like, I like this. And it was like my favorite video for a while. And yeah, so that also helped. And I also had a crush on my childhood best friend in grade school. Canon events. Maybe the Yummy music video, the Sorry music video, not so much, but we all have something. So yeah, that's why I feel like Pride is so connected to me. I like to celebrate Pride for myself, obviously, share who I am as a person, put it out there, but not only for me, for the people that I know can't. I've been briefly in the situation where you feel like it won't end well, or it's a terrifying feeling, and I know briefly what it feels like. I think having to conceal a part of yourself for a majority of your life it's draining. It's draining seeing other people go out and be open about it and having to hide and keep it a secret. And I think Pride really brings in something to be, not only to be desired, but something that you yearn for, knowing that you can't go out there and do that. And I think that's why it's so harmful when other people go out of their way to make people feel shameful for celebrating Pride. Saying, like, I'm gay, but I'm not one of those gays it's like, are you serious? If you're queer, then you should know that you've at least struggled once with receiving prejudice from someone, or feeling shameful about something, or just anything that would make you feel like, I don't know. You should know that there are people out there that are suffering. You should know that there are people out there that don't have the privilege that you have to be so open with it. And if you do know that, and you're at an advantage where you don't have to experience that, you should be taking the opportunities that you have to be so open and enjoy it. I've seen some TikTok videos where people say, like, putting Pride flags up or being open about being queer is kind of embarrassing. And then I've seen people comment saying, but I would kill for my parents to let me put that up in my room. I would kill to be going outside and holding hands with someone that I love, but I know that I can't. And I think that's where you kind of lose the sense that this is something that people want to have. And saying, like, it's embarrassing or it's weird is just harmful in every way. It's harmful to the queer community, it's harmful to you as someone that is queer, and it's harmful for the people on the outside that want you to shut yourself down as a person. You're giving in to the idea that you shouldn't be prideful of something. You're giving into the idea that this is not something to flaunt, and that's just wrong. There are so many people that I know that would kill to go outside and be free like that and be open about it, but they can't because of the situation that they're in, or because how they feel personally about their sexuality, and it's something that they don't think they'll ever be able to achieve. And you But you saying that it's embarrassing anyways, it's harmful to everyone. And I feel like I've restated that 4 times, maybe more than that. But it's true. I think queer media has become so public that when people see people being overly public about it, they kind of start to feel like, okay, it's too much. But being queer isn't about being silent. It's about being free and being open. Obviously, there are some people that can't do that, as I've said, but it's not meant to be something that you're ashamed of. You shouldn't be ashamed of it. That's not to say that you can't criticize the queer community for certain things. Obviously, we're all human beings. We all make mistakes. But to criticize someone for being happy, for being full of joy and whimsy or whatever, that's when it becomes a problem. I think because, again, of queer media, we feel so exposed to people that aren't homophobic. For example, you'll see a post curated for you on your For You page, and the comments are all full of people that are like, I want this queer relationship. I want this queer relationship. I love this video. But what you don't see is the other side of the internet that's not curated for you, where people are saying that we shouldn't have these rights. We shouldn't be able to be open about this. And unfortunately, it's very common for people to forget how others are treated and how the community feels. I unfortunately have been victim to this too. We live in our own bubble, and sometimes we forget that there are actual homophobes out there. There are transphobes out there that don't want you to be proud of who you are, that don't want you to show it. They want you to fit into this box and conform to what they think is okay and normal. I mean, going outside and being afraid that you're going to be called a slur should not be the norm for people. And for most people, it isn't. But for some people in those smaller towns, and for some people that are keeping it a secret as best they can, but they know that they can't, it's their everyday life. And we forget that, unfortunately. Pride Month is important. I think it's something that we don't need to take more seriously, but be more grateful to have. Of course, this doesn't go for everyone. And take this with a grain of salt. I am a 17-year-old girl. I haven't lived enough life to give every opinion in the world and have the nuance that others do. But we should be happy to go outside and see rainbows and feel like we belong here, because we do. And we're going to be here for a very long time, and you can't get rid of us no matter what you do. Love is love. And celebrating Pride Month is meant for everyone. It's a month of love. It's literally a month of love. And being open and being happy and being queer. Or if you're straight, you can celebrate Pride Month too. Be an ally. Go outside. Tell your gay friends that they belong there and that you love them. If you're queer, kiss whoever you want. I don't know. If you're queer, and indulge in queer media. Not sad queer media. Don't watch Brokeback Mountain. Don't be sad. If you have a significant other, go spend time with them out in public. Be happy. And if you're celebrating Pride this month silently and you can't do it openly and you're upset about that, I'll celebrate it for you. Obviously, we're towards the end of Pride Month now, but you're seen, you exist, and having to be silent about your identity doesn't make you any less valid as a queer person. And if you're closeted and you're celebrating in silence, you have no time limit on coming out. You can come out next month, next week, in 30 years. Pride is for you too. Pride's for everyone. Happy Pride Month. If I am able to get this video out before Pride Month is over, and if you enjoyed, subscribe. This is really just for my friends, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, thank you for listening to my rant.